Today, we are going to dive into the life of one of the greatest rap icons of all time. His name was Christopher George Lator Wallace, but the world knew him as Notorious B.I.G. or simply Biggie. Born on May 21, 1972 in Brooklyn, New York, Biggie had a difficult childhood. The only child of a teacher mother and a father who abandoned the family when he was just 2 years old, he grew up in a neighborhood where crime was high and opportunities were scarce. From an early age, Christopher showed talent for music. In his teens, he began rapping and quickly gained respect in local rap battles. Despite financial difficulties, Biggie was a brilliant student and was accepted into several prestigious schools. However, he ended up getting involved in drug trafficking at the age of 12, trying to help with household expenses. He was arrested a few times for drug-related crimes, but at the same time, he started to develop his rap talent, participating in street battles and gaining respect in the local scene. However, success came with controversies. The rivalry between the East and West coasts of rap, especially between Biggie and Tupac Shakur, reached dangerous levels. In 1996, Tupac was murdered in Las Vegas and many suspected a connection with Bad Boy Records, although there was never conclusive evidence. Despite the controversies, Biggie continued to make music. He founded the group Junior Mafia, launching talents like Lil' Kim. His collaboration with other artists and his ability to create commercial hits kept him at the top of the charts. After Tupac's death, the West Coast retaliated. Not only did both gangs lose, but the entire hip-hop scene suffered. The coast-to-coast feud caused the world to tragically lose to great artists. After being robbed and nearly killed in a Manhattan studio, Tupac accused B.I.G. and Sean Combs of orchestrating the incident. It was November 30, 1994, and shortly after, Notorious B.I.G. released Who Shot Ya, despite Biggie clearing Combs and himself of any involvement in the shooting. The hip-hop community at the time saw this release as a provocation to Shakur. Nothing could be resolved, and everything only got worse from there. Rumors about Wallace's involvement in Shakur's murder were reported almost immediately. A two-part series by Chuck Phillips in the Los Angeles Times in 2002, Who Killed Tupac Shakur, based on police reports and multiple sources, stated that the shooting was ordered by a Compton gang called the Southside Crips to avenge the beating of one of its members by Shakur's gang hours earlier, and that Wallace paid for the murder weapon. His family publicly denied the allegation, producing documents that claimed the rapper was in New York and New Jersey at the time. The New York Times said the documents were inconclusive, stating, "The pages propose that there are 3 logs from Daddy's house, indicating that Wallace was in the studio recording a song called Nasty Boy on the night Shakur was killed. They indicate that Wallace wrote half the session, came in and out, sat down, and wrote a reference similar to a first verse. But nothing indicated the creation date of the documents." And Louis Alford, the recording engineer listed on the sheet, said in an interview that he remembered recording the song with Wallace in a late-night session, not during the day. He couldn't recall the date of the session, but said it didn't seem to be the night Shakur was shot. "We would have heard about it," Mr. Alfred said. On March 5, 1997, Wallace gave a radio interview with the Doghouse on KYLD in San Francisco, California. In the interview, he stated that he had hired security because he feared for his life, but this was because he was a celebrity, not specifically a rapper. On March 8, 1997, Wallace presented one of the awards to Toni Braxton at the 11th Annual Soul Train Music Awards in Los Angeles and was booed by some members of the audience. After being booed, Biggie decided to perform the song Who Shot Ya, provoking his rivals. After the ceremony, Wallace attended a party hosted by Vibe magazine and Quest Records at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Among other guests were Faith Evans, Aaliyah, Sean Combs, and some members of the Crips and Bloods gangs. On March 9, 1997, at around 12:30 a.m., Wallace and his entourage left the party into Chevrolet Suburbans to return to their hotel after the fire department closed the party early due to overcrowding. Wallace was traveling in the front passenger seat, accompanied by his friends, Damian Droc Butler, Junior MAFIA member Lil Cease, and Gregory G. Money Young. Combs traveled in another vehicle with 3 bodyguards. The 2 cars were trailed by a Chevrolet Blazer carrying Bad Boy's director of security, Paul Offord. At around 12:45 a.m., the streets were crowded with people leaving the event. Wallace's car stopped at a red light 46 meters from the Peterson Automotive Museum. A black Chevrolet Impala pulled up alongside Wallace's car. The Impala's driver, an unknown African-American man wearing a blue suit and bow tie, lowered his window, drew a 9mm blue steel pistol, and fired at the Suburban, for bullets hit Wallace in the chest. His associates rushed him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where doctors performed an emergency thoracotomy, but he was pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. He was 24 years old. His autopsy, revealed 15 years after his death, showed that only 1 shot was fatal. It entered through his hip and traveled through his colon, kidney, heart, and left lung before stopping in his left shoulder. Wallace's funeral took place on March 18, 1997, at the Frankie Campbell Funeral Chapel in Manhattan. About 350 of Wallace's close friends attended the funeral, including Queen Latifah, Flavor Flav, Mary J. Blige, Lil Kim, Lil Cease, Run DMC, DJ Kool Herc, Busta Rhymes, Sultan Peppa, DJ Spinderella, Foxy Brown, and Sister Soulja, among others. David Dinkins and Clive Davis also attended. After the funeral, his body was cremated and his ashes were given to his family. In 2011, the FBI released hundreds of pages of heavily redacted records from its investigation into the 1997 murder. As part of the release, they revealed a list of items that Wallace had in his pockets the night he was killed: a Georgia driver's license, a pen, 0.91 grams of marijuana, an asthma inhaler, and 3 condoms. His Georgia driver's license was issued at some point in the 1990s when Bad Boy Records temporarily relocated to Atlanta. Despite his short life, Biggie's impact on music and culture is immense. He is remembered not only for his unparalleled lyrical skills, but also as a symbol of perseverance and resilience. His influence remains alive, inspiring new generations of artists. Notorious B.I.G. was more than a rapper. He was a voice of a generation, a legend who lives on through his music and the legacy he left behind. His story is a powerful reminder of the talent that can emerge even in the most difficult circumstances.